Hello my friends, welcome back to Keto and the Chaos. My name is Tammy, and on this channel I like to share all my tips and tricks on how I lost over 200 pounds without bariatric surgery and how you can be successful on your own weight loss journey. So if that's what you're looking for, don't forget to click the subscribe button and ring the bell for more videos like this one to inspire you to get started. All right, welcome back everyone to another video. Last we chatted, I was in the middle of preparation for this big hiking event that I had coming up this past week, and I was doing walking every day and I was eating extra carbohydrates, trying to get my muscles to grow in preparation for being able to do this big 19-mile 3-day hike that I was doing with my son this past week. So today's video, I'm going to talk about how that went, whether or not I feel like the preparation was enough, how it affected me on the scale, what I chose to eat during the hike and the days following, and all of that. So that's what this video is about, and I hope that it's entertaining for you guys and that you enjoy. So going on this Mormon Pioneer Trek has been one of those longtime dreams that I have had. My kids every few years would go on them, and I always think about what it would be like for me to be able to go. When my kids would come home, I would ask them, how was it? And they didn't really have much to say, and I really wanted to be able to participate in a trek so that I could figure out what it was like myself, because it's apparently one of those things that you can't really explain to other people. You just have to experience, and I really wanted to experience this. And so this is another one of those goal-crushing moments that probably one of the last ones. I don't really have any more life dreams that I haven't accomplished in the last couple of years. That's a frank and honest truth. If I really think about it, I can't think of anything that I have desired to do that I have not accomplished since I began my weight loss journey in January 1st, 2017. My first goal-crushing moment was when I joined the clogging class for the very first time. I don't know if you guys remember way back at the very beginning of this channel. I had just lost the 100 pounds, and my gift to myself was a pair of clogging shoes. It was a $100 pair of clogging shoes. Actually, it cost more than that. That I bought for myself as a gift for my first 100 pounds lost. And I joined the clogging group, the adult moms group, basically that August, and went on to perform on stage. Kept doing that. I've loved doing that. Totally killed it at my last recital. I've come a long way since I started it. Definitely have gotten a lot better. I wouldn't say I'm as good as my kids, but I'm a lot better. One of the second amazing moments that I was able to accomplish was dancing in the Nutcracker with my children. I didn't get to do it last year because of COVID, but the year before I was able to dance with my now 19-year-old son as his partner in the party parent scene in the Nutcracker, which is something I had dreamed of doing since my oldest, who is 25 years old, was 8. So it was a long time coming, ultimate dream of mine, and it was definitely a goal-crushing moment. And so this is going on the Mormon Pioneer Trek with my son is another one of those things that I dreamed someday, and someday finally came. And that's like the best description of how this went for me. As far as the preparation goes leading up to it, obviously I could have used a lot more than 2 weeks prep. If I hadn't had so many other things going on this spring, I probably should have spent a lot more time getting ready for this this type of activity. This is the first time I've done anything like this, and so I was maybe not quite as prepared as I probably could have been. I felt pretty prepared. I felt solid in my ability to walk that many miles in a day. But what I didn't plan for or prepare for was the elevation, or I don't know what you call that. So I'm no athlete where, you're going uphill instead of straight. I had not planned for that. So needless to say, it was a little bit more challenging probably than first I set it out to appear that it was going to be in my brain, which is good because the whole point of the trek is for you to feel a little bit of strain, a little bit of stress, a little bit of pain, and maybe connect with your ancestors and try and figure out kind of a little tiny piece of what they might have felt like on the trail when they were trekking across the country to find a new home. So all that being said, What I thought I'd do is maybe show you guys just like a little mini clip series of, I don't know, I'm not really in much of it because I was filming them and that was my job. There's one clip where my son was supposed to film me, but you can't actually see me in the shot, so I'll probably try and put a little me above me so you can kind of know where it is. And then I'm going to show you that little montage and then come back and talk to you about how I feel about it, you know, maybe share a little insight about that, and of course talk about how the scale handled the whole thing. So I hope you enjoy this. Hey guys, it's Monday morning. It is 5:57 a.m. We were supposed to be over to the church 3 minutes ago to get ready to go to this trek that I've been talking about on my channel. I am literally starving, which is weird, but I guess maybe it's just because I'm not used to getting only 3 hours of sleep. So I'm grabbing some protein on the way out the door. We've got to get going because we are late, and I'll catch you guys in a little while.
Oh, who to sit by?
Probably about a half hour now. I don't know how far we've gone because I never turned on the run keeper. I meant to, but I didn't. But it'd be annoying anyway, probably. The weather is super nice. It's 72 degrees and breezy. It's like easy, easy peasy. Look how pretty that is. We have come to a very steep, as you can see, incline, and so what we're going to be doing is like taking them down one hand cart at a time using a rope. So that'll be interesting. Guys, we gotta cross this thing. Here we go. Oh my gosh, probably gonna fall. I hope not, because this camera is not waterproof. Okay. The rocks are fairly stable. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. Oh yeah, look at that. They found a way. I'm impressed. I was told there was no way. My shoes are waterproof. I don't even feel it. Woo! Well, that was actually easy. I don't even feel the water at all. And look at guys. Camp. We have made it to camp. Woo-woo! My Daddy Dave over there. Welcome home, everyone. Welcome home for one day. Morning, it's day 2, and I came up here to the supply area where my husband is supposed to be. And he's not here, freaking me out. Now phone's going to voicemail and whatever. And then just I'm about to panic and freak out, and look what I see coming down the road here. I believe that's our van. Way in the distance. Having a snack out here. Check this out, guys. Pretty cool. Have fun. Because this is fun times here, huh? isn't even the steep part. That is. Yeah. Hole, you can step in it. It's not super deep. Use it for a foothold. Just be aware of it. How you doing, Bishop? Get some water in you. You look red. That is a kid. Nice and slow, guys. The slower you can go, the better. Trust me. I've seen way too many people getting out of hand here.
Man, we gotta listen to your kid song on the way home, guys.
How to get past all of you. All right, so there you go. Needless to say, it was a little bit intense. If you are unfamiliar about the the early Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Long ago in early 1800s, Joseph Smith, he was visited by God and his son and was presented with a new set of scripture that he was then charged to translate and begin a fledgling church. As you can imagine, he was looked at as kind of a crazy person by a lot of people. He set off a lot of angry feelings from other people because he was challenging the status quo of what they believed at the time and was taking people away from their church membership. And I don't know all the ins and outs of it. All I know is that at one point they were thrown out of their homes and basically told to go leave with the clothes on their back and whatever they could throw into a wagon or a handcart, and they basically went west. It was a challenging time. There were many, many handcart companies and many wagon companies that went across. They weren't the only ones going across the plains. There were quite a few different types of groups, but for the most part, they did okay. I mean, granted, it was hard. It was weeks, months, time. But there were a few handcart companies that got started a little late in the year, weren't told, they didn't communicate to the fledgling group in Salt Lake. And so there was no relief that was coming to get them. Nobody knew they were coming. And so there was no one to help them with food and warm blankets and help get them there. And they ended up getting caught in the weather. Many people perished. Many men gave up all of their own rations to their wives and children and just basically walked themselves into the ground. There were little children that froze to death. They told us a story about this one little girl who had been sent ahead with her family, without her family, I think from England. They had paid for her way to go so that she could kind of prepare the way for them to come later because they didn't have enough money to come. And she had been helping take care of this little boy who was 5 years old, and she was charged with his care, and she was told that it was her job to make sure he got to Zion. And she carried him through the snow, even though he had died. She didn't know he had died, and she carried his lifeless body through the snow. She was so frozen, and then she ended up dying herself. There were so many intense stories that we learned about while we were walking, and we actually were walking a section of the trail that they actually walked upon. Also, interesting enough, it was an area where the Transcontinental Railroad had gone through, the Pony Express had gone through. We got to camp where many, many, many people of history camped, and you could just feel them in the ground and see them in the sky. There was a bald eagle watching over us, and it was so cool. Never seen a bald eagle before, especially not one in the wild, and he was up there in the trees looking down on us, and it was pretty intense. And the walking itself was pretty tough. The first day, it was 7.5 miles of straight ground. It was beautiful Wyoming. We saw sheep. It was funny because we were all dressed up in our pioneer clothes, and we saw men herding sheep, and we thought it was so interesting because we hadn't seen that, and we were filming them with our little cameras, and we come around the bend and we see them laughing and filming us because we were the interesting thing to them, which I thought was kind of fun. We saw huge windmills. There was big, huge windmills. I've never been that close to those big white windmills. I've seen them in the distance, but we don't have them in Utah, and well, at least not anywhere near where I am. And I had never been that close, and they're just huge. It was so interesting to see, and there was really crazy steep hills. And one of the first challenges we had that first day was that steep hill. I showed a little bit of it in the clips, but we had to turn the handcarts around and haul them by ropes. Well, the kids did. I didn't do that part. We let them do it, and they kind of had to lean back and pull while they kind of slid gently the handcart down the side. That was pretty intense, and that's kind of how they had to do back in the days where they were actually traversing. And you got to think, they didn't have sunscreen, they didn't have good shoes, they probably wore through their shoes, they probably had to carry all their food and literally potatoes and heavy flour, things like that. We didn't have. We just had light clothing and snacks in our hand carts. And so you kind of just think, wow, that takes some guts, it takes some gumption to even attempt such a journey. I just cannot even fathom that. And especially, you're literally going out into the middle of nowhere, not knowing what you're going to find, and starting over from scratch, literally on barren ground in Utah. I mean, it's intense when you think about it. It's pretty crazy. And man, my soul was really touched by the thought of them doing that, and now I have this beautiful place to live and raise my children in freedom, and with nobody telling me what I can and can't believe, and I'm free to believe what I want to believe without anyone trying to come and tar and feather me in the night and scare my babies and whatever else they did to those people before they drove them out. It was pretty scary. So anyway, the first day I walked into camp, and so Dave was doing all of the setup. Dave and my 19-year-old son literally set up the tents for all of the people in our group. There were 55 of us, and they put up all of the tents. I think there were, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 to 15 tents. I can't even remember exactly how many tents. And they had to put them up and take them down every single day. And that was intense work. Like, I don't know, they were so sunburned. I felt so bad. But anyway, we walked into camp, and Dave was like, so how'd it go? And I was like, pshaw, that's cake. I got this in the bag. That was the first day. The second day was that other clip that you saw of me pulling the hand cart myself. Well, not by myself, but with all the other women up the hill. That was the day they told us the stories about the people who had perished in the snow. And they had the women pull the hand carts up the hill because a lot of the men perished and the women had to finish the journey on their own. And so all of the boys lined up along the path, and they just took their hats off and put their hands on their hearts and weren't allowed to say anything to us. They just watched us like they were spirits that had passed on, that were just lending support from the spirit world, and we were just pushing. It hurt so bad. I breathed into alveoli and did not know existed in my lungs. Like, whoa. I was breathing like like, oh my gosh, I was leaning so far forward. It's why you can't see me, because I was literally bent over the front of the handcart, pushing everything. It was on my ribs, and I was just pushing with everything I had, and still felt like it wasn't going to go. It was the longest hill in my life, and I was crying, of course, because I was thinking about the women who had to do that in the snow. Wow, it was pretty amazing. But when you get to the top and you realize you made it, and such incredible feeling. I can't imagine that's the reason people do things like run marathons and climb mountains and things like that. That feeling of exhilaration of accomplishing a goal that you set out to do. And anyway, we had to go back to the camp. It was still a little ways away. It wasn't like we were done at that point. We still had to walk back, and we got back into camp, and I could see that my 19-year-old was in need of some Solé water, something fierce. He looked like he was about to faint. So I set about making him some water and got him a drink. And the second he was taken care of, and my tent wasn't up yet because Dave hadn't gotten to mine yet, and I didn't have any place to sit. I sat down on the cooler and literally I almost collapsed. I just curled up in a ball on my side. I think I may have put that clip in there. I curled up on a ball on my side on the cooler and just laid there and just closed my eyes and just let all of my muscles just relax. It was the most relaxed I've been able to get for so long, and it felt really crazy. So yeah, that was the second day, and I thought, okay, well, surely since the third day is 7.5 miles, it's going to be another flat, relatively easy walk day. We're going to be able to get it done really easily, right? Wrong. It was basically 4 miles. I think it was about 4 miles straight up. There was no let up. We just went up and up and up and up. Well, there was the point where we went down first. So we went up a huge hill, then down a huge hill. It was the steepest one. They had to hold their hand carts, and whew, that was nerve-wracking. I thought somebody was going to die, but nobody did. Thank goodness. Nobody got hurt. We had a few sprained ankles and some, of course, people with heat stroke. Thankfully, the temperature was actually pretty good. It was between 70 and 85. I think the highest it got was 85 on the hottest part of the third day. Not too bad at all. And we had a wind and breeze the whole time, so it was actually not that bad temperature-wise, but people were exerting and not replacing electrolytes. I was trying to pass salt around to everybody, and they thought I was crazy. Guess who didn't get heat stroke? This girl. Because I'd made sure, and neither did my son, my 15-year-old, because he also knew that salt was the way to go, and so he made sure to take care of himself. Anyway, so it was about 4 miles up, and then about a mile back down. And going down was so much worse than going up because it's like jarred your shoes, your toes in front of your shoes, and like pushed on your knees and like your shins, and like that I'm not prepared for, guys. Nope. So that was all before lunch. And so then we stopped at the lunch spot, and Dave was there because he had brought people that had gotten injured to like meet up with us for lunch at this really pretty place. And it's like a little valley. And so he was there, and so I was sitting with him, and I was thinking, oh, I think I'm just going to ride with him to the last 3 miles. I think I'm just going to crap out here. I just can't go one more minute further. It's just too much. Then I was like, girl, you didn't sign up for this to quit at the very last minute. You got to get out there and walk with those kids and show them that you were here and in it to win it, and that, you know, because they can't quit. And so I did. I got back in line. And thankfully, the last 3 miles was flat. I got my stride back, and actually, I was out walking those kids. They were way more worn out than me, shockingly. And I was able to literally like wiggle past each group. So I kind of spent some time with each group of kids. And I think in total, there were 400 something youth that were there. And so I kind of like wiggled through, and I would chat with a few here and there and sing with a few here and there, and just kind of worked my way to the front by the time we got to the end so that I could be at the very front filming them as they come in. I think I put that clip in the little clips too, but I got to be at the very front of the group, even though I didn't start there. So obviously I did okay. I was exhausted. I could hardly move on Thursday. It was my and Dave's anniversary, and the next day, and both of us were just kind of like zombies. Went to see a movie and stuff, and yeah, so yeah, I got on the scale, and it's about how I thought. So about what I ate on the trail, I ate a lot of carbs. They did not even feed us protein. I think they thought we just need lots of energy, because basically the menu was basically potatoes and all kinds of carbs, like very, very, very little protein. I had a lot of gluten-free stuff, thankfully, because they had allergy table, and so I was able to get like my sandwiches on gluten-free. But like the very first day, the second day, the lunch was, we brought our own lunch on the first day, and it was good. And then the second day, they gave us peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So if that means anything to you, it's like literally a carb fest. Plus, I also took gummy worms because they are my favorite carb, and I don't allow myself to eat them very often. And so I ate a pound or two of gummy worms on that trip. I don't even know how much Dave got me, but it was a big bag that was bought in the bulk foods. And I did share some around with some of the kids, but I ate, for the most part, all of those gummies. I ate a lot of food. I don't even know how much. I literally, every time we stopped, I ate something. Every time I looked at the cart, I ate something. Every time we got to the tents, I ate something. Then I ate dinner, and like I literally felt like if I didn't keep eating, I was gonna crap out and poop out and die. And so I just kept, so probably that wasn't the best choice. So anyway, I guess it's time to look and see what happened on the scale. I think I have the before scale number, so the Sunday before I left, and then of course I didn't weigh myself on the trail, so it'll go Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I'll throw in today for good measure. All right, and then I'll be back. So yeah, 10 pounds in 3 days. Hopefully a lot of it is water weight, obviously. I was pretty swollen above my wool socks. My legs were kind of like, so a lot of it's that. I probably will take time to come off of me, but I don't know if I'm gonna have time to get it off of me before my surgery. Surgery date is quickly approaching. I don't know what I'm going to be doing eating wise. I'm going to be talking to the doctor on Tuesday about doing my pre-op and everything, and finding out if there's any special diet. I have considered doing keto in order to be completely anti-inflammatory both before and after surgery, and I might do that, but I am not 100% sure if that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to him and see what he thinks is best. I really don't know what to do at this point. I kind of feel like, oh man, now I gained like 10 pounds. Should I even get the surgery? And should I wait? And I'm like, you go through all these crazy thoughts in your head. And I'm like, no, girl, no. We're not going down that road. Nope. There is no screw it attitude at my house anymore. You know what? We did what we had to do, and we ate what we had to eat, and the scale reflected it, and oh well. It's like, that's just how life is. If we cannot get wrapped up in the scale, we cannot get wrapped up in the scale affecting how we feel about ourselves and what we accomplished. Look what I accomplished. I don't care what I ate on the trail. I don't care how much pounds I put on. I went on a 19-mile hike uphill. Like, that is not something this girl does. No, it is not. And I'm so proud of myself for doing it. And I'm so excited that I did it. And now my brain is moving into the next part of the journey, which is my surgery date, which is coming up. And I'm going to be having my loose skin surgery. If you missed that video, which I don't know how you could have, I think it's got like 10,000 views, go back and check it out. But I talked about the surgery I'm going to be having, but it is coming up on July 15th. I'm having a little bit of feelings. I'm in my feelings a little bit about it. Not really anxiety over it, just kind of like feeling mom guilt and wondering if, I don't know. It's apparently all my feelings are normal according to all the Facebook groups, so that's good. And just trying to get my brain wrapped around doing the next thing. So right now what I'm working on is getting my room set up. Thanks to your donations, I was able to purchase a lift chair, and the lift chair was brand new, like brand spanking new with the papers and everything, white leather chair, and we got it for $175 on Facebook Marketplace. What? Like, oh my gosh. I mean, such blessings, and I'm so glad. So I'm so excited to get it up here with this big, huge brown couch. That's a recliner, but it's not power, and it's just really inconvenient to use for what I'm planning to do. So we have to get that hauled out of here and get my beautiful white one put in here, and my new desk. I bought myself a new desk where I'm going to be able to set up my editing area because my old desk is just terrible and I didn't have room for a desk, and now pulling the big couch out, I'm going to have room. So putting a desk over there, and I've got a fridge over here and a microwave all set up. I've got a walker. I've got a shower chair. I will be showing you guys a haul of all of the stuff that I have gotten. So as soon as I get my space set up, I'm going to be doing a video on everything I bought. And then later, after I have the surgery, I've gone through a lot of the recovery, I will come back and I will fill you in on which things I bought actually ended up benefiting me and which ones didn't. So keep watching for that whole thing. So yes, the next few sets of videos are going to be updates on my surgery. Next week I'll probably show you all of the things I bought, and I am going camping, so it might come out a little late. I probably won't record an update for you on the weekend because we are going to hit one last family time out. I think we're going to try to anyway. We're going to try to take the dune buggies out to the sand dunes and ride those a bit this next weekend. So hopefully I'll have a clip of that for you guys, maybe. We'll see. But if not, you can go join Hide and Seek and see it in 2 months, because that's how far behind I am on my other channel. I love y'all. This job is not for the faint of heart. I can hardly keep up. So anyway, I hope this video was interesting for you guys. I hope it wasn't completely boring. Only thing I can do is bring you exactly what's happening in my life. If you would like to support the channel, if you want to give a donation towards my surgery, all the information on how you can support the channel, buy things, use my codes. I got all that in the about section of all the videos. So I appreciate every bit of help that you guys can give. It means a lot to me when you guys take the time to reach out like that, and it really does make a difference to me, because this channel and your help is basically how I'm paying for this surgery. So I do appreciate it when you guys can reach out like that. So I guess that's all, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you all again soon.